Thanks, bro. Good afternoon, industrial marketers. Are you doing good? Come on. Are you doing good? Or should I say good after lunch sleepy marketers, right? I was thinking this morning, how would I begin this presentation? Because, I just make this stuff up as I go for the most part. And I was thinking, here's one way I could begin it. I could begin it Scott Stratton style and just say right off from the beginning, yes, I'm a 50-year-old guy with like an 8-inch long goatee. Get over it. And I have it just like him because my wife loves it. And she is also smoking hot. I don't know if any of you saw that session, but last night I get a ton of questions about the beard, okay? It's human nature, I guess. So most commonly it's like, hey, how do you get your beard to grow so long? And I go, I have a super inside secret tip. Don't cut it. It works for me. But last night I got a new question, which was, what do you call that thing? And that really made me think. I was like, what do you call that? And I'm like, So I am proud to introduce to you today Francisco. He's Portuguese. He doesn't speak English entirely greatly. Say a few words, Francisco. Olá, pessoas. Prazer em conhecer. He says he's happy to meet you. So I thought I might begin the presentation that way, but then I was like, no, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to start it with a question. Why the hell are we here? I mean, it's Friday. It's been days of mind-numbing, incredibly enlightening sessions on content marketing. Everybody else is gone. We're still here in this room. We just had lunch. We want to go home. Why are we here? I mean, I'm serious. Tell me, because I need a reason to go on. Whoa, people have answers. I love you. Yeah, I'll tell you why we're here. Value. Okay, we're hoping to get something of value. So my presentation is entitled something like Industrial Strength Strategy, How I Increase Leads 800% Through Content Marketing, or some other clickbaity title, something like that, right? Spoiler alert, that's the answer. All right, I'm done, see ya. So why do we do anything, right? What's the basis of almost all human interaction, most human transactions? For sure, right? Whenever you're here because you're looking for value. My goal here today is to try to provide you with some value, right? You're at this entire conference looking for value. Your customers go to your website or buy your product because they're looking for value. Your content marketing should be providing, say it with me, right? So I'm kind of like on a industrial marketing one-man crusade to switch the concept from content marketing to value marketing, okay? Because if there's no value, it's just spam. It's just the new latest form of spam, just to be honest with you. So, if our goal is to create value, is there a framework, or what do we do? So today I'm going to try to run you through what we do with our little team at Brennan Industries to provide value and how we execute our content marketing strategy. And I'm just going to run you through it so you can see what we do, and hopefully that helps you in some level. And I'll share with you a few key takeaways, key tidbits. What's a good word for that? Key nuggets? I like nuggets. So a few key nuggets, maybe a side of questions with hopefully some answers on how we create real value. So, nugget one, we're different. Okay, we heard Ashinta, whom, by the way, where'd you go? There you are. He's reading my mind. This man is reading my mind. I mean, did you guys feel like a kind of agreement with what he was saying? I personally did. I have experienced almost everything exactly how he laid it out has been my experience. So excellent job on that. Industrial marketing is different. We're not just trying to distort somebody's perception of something until they feel like, yeah, that sneaker is going to make me feel fancy, so I'm going to spend $100 on it, right? It's way more complicated than that in the world of industrial marketing, because you have, just like he said, the first person who finds your product is some engineer, and he specs it into some new product he's developing, some guy on the new product development team. They may have their own buying process or buyer vetting process just in the new product development team. So that's some sort of, in our case, commodities manager or procurement person. Then there might be a corporate or a higher level up procurement chain, which vets what they've decided to do and say, okay, this is what they want to do. Is that the right choice for us as a company? Because they're making partnership decisions, not just I want to buy a sneaker. Your part is going into something that they're making, that they're selling to their audience or customers, right? So they put a ton of effort into making sure they're making the right decisions, and you've got a lot of people involved in that decision process. So supply chain, engineering, sometimes executives, procurement, and then you might even go to market different ways. So you might go to market through distribution, you might go through manufacturers' reps, you might go direct to OEMs, you might do all of the above. We do all of the above, right? Then you might service multiple verticals. So you've got, our verticals might be agricultural, construction, process industries, oil and gas, aerospace, all completely different, right? Not all of them completely different, but a lot of differences in there, right? They might buy a different product mix for different reasons, have whole different processes, require different certifications, yada, yada, yada. You know the mix, right? So the point is, first you have to understand we're different. And that's what makes this little conference here, this part of the conference, so interesting. I think, at least to me, we're all getting together. We're saying, you know what, we don't do it like the rest of those people. Those people who were just here yesterday, okay, great. They do it their way. Doesn't work for us, right? Or does it? So here's the first question. Is content marketing relevant in the industrial marketplace? Is it a fad, or would it actually work, right? Because you're going to get asked this if you haven't already had to prove this, or, people just continually think, no, this isn't going to work. Our buyer likes telephone book catalogs. Our buyers are still freaking sending orders in by fax, right? Okay, they're not on the internet. They don't know how to use your damn app. Okay, and some of that is actually true. Like, let's be honest, that is actually true. But at the same time, some of the older ones are retiring, right? And the people who are coming in to fill in that gap are younger ones. And they do go to Google. They do use social media. And they're already in those organizations. So just to continue thinking, well, this is a million-year-old industry that hasn't changed like in the entire time I've been in this career, and it's never going to change, is just not accurate. So the answer is content marketing relevant? Yeah, it is. It's absolutely relevant. Does it work? Yeah, it totally actually works. In just the last few years, we've almost shifted entirely away from all other types of advertising and entirely towards content-driven marketing. And that has resulted in a massive uptick in leads, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But sure, we do some of the same things, right, that other content marketers do. We might make guides, we might make white papers, premium content, whatever the heck you want to call it. We might make blog posts, look similar to what other people are doing. We might make fancy videos. Okay, a lot of that's the same as what everybody else is doing. We might do some things that are content that we consider content that some people might not think of or consider content outside of this room. For instance, technical data, right? Huge amount of content, super valuable content. People want to know this stuff. Cadenas, props, right here, that's you. I get a bonus every time I mention them. They don't know that yet. Or things like this, pressure ratings tool, how can I get information? This is just for us. Yours is gonna obviously be something different. You know, how can I get information about the pressure ratings on your products? Okay, just type the number in there, hit go. There it is. You know, how can I cross-reference the inferior other brand products that I have with your superior products so I can promptly and immediately replace them? Well, right there in the competitive cross-reference will help make that super duper easy. Okay, that's content for an industrial audience. And the goal of it is to provide, say it with me. Yeah, real value. It matters to somebody to have that information. It saves them time, right? CAD files saves an engineer time. Our parts are like, you know, super simple commodity parts. An engineer does not want to sit there and spend an hour modeling an elbow fitting, you know? He'd say, like, well, what a waste of time. I could just go to the Brennan site and download 20 of these and throw all the ones I need into all my sub-assemblies, yada, yada, yada. That provides him value in the form of, you just saved me 8 hours out of my day if you multiply that all out. That provides that company that value. So the point here is, you're beginning that relationship with value, right? The conversation starts with, I'm valuable. Look how I make your life better. That's what these things are saying. Even white paper content says things like that to your market. And what better message could you be sending into your marketplace than we provide value? Okay? Another nugget. Say it with me. Listen. Say it louder. Listen. Come on, people. I know it's late in the afternoon. It's been a long conference. Let's get through this together. Listen. So this is how it starts. You have to listen, right? How do you provide value? You have to know what people want, okay? This sounds super easy. It sounds like, honestly, kind of common sense. But have you ever found yourself not actually doing it? Okay? Yeah, it's super easy not to do it, to just regurgitate content, to put out stuff there in the marketplace that doesn't really matter. Somebody says what you need to do is write content that ranks for SEO. Okay, we'll create our content based on that plan. And in the end, wow, it gets people to the site. They read your content and say, this is baloney. It's sort of worthless. And then at that point, they're like, hey, that brand provides me worthless content. It's a source of spam. Okay, and then boom, you're decategorized, you're pushed off to the side immediately, right? But if you write content that really matters to them, teaches them something, saves them money, educates them in some way, provides them value that's real, then you win them. This is the only chart I'm going to show you in this whole presentation, so you can be happy. Breathe a sigh. Okay, I don't have my how I increased 800% leads chart. You just have to believe me. But I love this chart, which is this is my KPI for engagement, basically. And this is since we started content marketing to this quarter, which isn't over yet. And you can see the level of engagement that has happened for us. This is conversions on forums on our website for gated content. So we started out, there's a few key things I want you to take away from this chart. One, that graph. Okay, that's like Todd's graph that went like that. Remember that graph that he showed about adopting something new, becoming good at it? Okay, so we're seeing the same kind of thing there. Growth. Something else I want you to notice, look at the front part of that graph though. Look at those abysmal numbers. Look at that. Look at Q2 2016, right? They don't get much lower. Can get a little bit lower, right? And look how long they stayed low. Honestly, it took us a while to get the whole thing into gear. It took me like 3 quarters just to get our previous CAD system jacked into HubSpot because of the integration, you know? So it takes some time. The takeaways there are it takes time, it takes some patience. You got to try, you got to think long term, and you got to try to provide value. But eventually we did get to where we're going. And something else I want you to notice is the number of different colored bars on that graph. Okay, so for a long time, our number one producer of leads was our CAD system. That's that bottom brown bar. But now it's not, right? Our other content has way eclipsed what's coming out of our CAD system lead-wise. And also notice undulation, right? That's another thing to notice about this graph. Look at this month here, right before this month, right? That's depressing. It's like, hey, John, come back off the ledge. What, 1,500? What the hell did we do wrong? But then the very next quarter, through the roof, right? So things go up, things go down. It takes time. You just got to keep the pressure on. You got to provide value. You don't want to go after anything other than providing value. Another tidbit. Say it with me. Multiply. What do I mean by that? This is what's worked for us. Okay? You start out with a white paper, guide, whatever, premium content. We try to make them very nice, high quality, good looking, full of excellent data. The idea there is it's quality, it's of value. You mix that up with some blog posts. So we write multiple blogs off of one piece of core content, one pillar piece of content or premium content. All of those blog posts get supported by a whole slew of social media posts. We also do paid advertising to support the content. All of our advertising now, except for a little bit of brand building we do in trade publications, all of the advertising supports content. We don't advertise for anything other than content. Now we've recently been adding new things to the mix. So we felt like we had the blog post, social media, white paper thing down. We started making infographics, started converting some of the papers into video form, just multiplying things out, providing the same content in different formats because people don't always want it in the same format. You're not creating a new thing every single time. Now right here, we're already up to something like, 20 pieces of content, all just originating from one premium piece of content, let's call it. Then you do that a few different times. This has been our strategy, right? Super primitive or basic or whatever you might want to call it, but executing it has produced results for us. And these white papers, you may or may not notice, are targeted towards different people in that chain. So a lot of times we targeted at engineers at the beginning, and we started getting a ton of engineers. Now we're targeting things about supply chain, procurement, issues that they're facing in their jobs, just to provide interesting information, begin a dialogue with them, give them some value, get on their radar screen. So now we're putting content out in towards different verticals or product lines, towards different personas. We don't really do personas, I'm gonna be honest, but we do kind of target different roles in the company, like engineering, procurement, and an executive level, distributor versus OEM, and tailor the content that way. This is just a peek at how our kind of calendar of activity has become. We don't put a lot on Fridays because we have found that it doesn't work as well, so we just don't put it out. So essentially, only Happy Friday posts and things like that go out on Fridays, but the rest of the calendar is totally loaded, and you can't even, because of the way HubSpot works, you can't even see there's probably twice as many things in these cells as actually shows up. And that's why this bar here is made up of so many different colors at the right end. So over time, that system rolls like a snowball. You're putting more content out there. The original content is still there. It's still attracting leads at the same rate it was. You come out with new content. Now it's attracting more leads. You come out with new and new and new content. Now we're after coming here, one of our takeaways through this whole thing is go back to that first set of content and make it better. It's already performing. Okay, honestly, I never even thought of that. We're just going so far forward to stop and be like, wait a minute, could we just make that content we have perform better? rather than just plowing forward. So that's something that I guess I picked up from this conference that I feel like I want to definitely try that. Haven't done it yet. I'll tell you how it goes. Next nugget, in real life. Say it with me. In real life. Okay, this has been something we've done, I think, differently. I haven't heard a lot of people pumping this up, but we've found it super duper effective, which is, in this day and age, you get a lot of virtual stuff, right? If it's your birthday, if it's your 30th birthday, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, whatever it is, and your closest friend sends you like an e-card, okay, you're like, awesome. They send you a text message, you're like, great, thanks. But if they sent you like a present or a real card, handwritten letter, right, nowadays, that actually matters, right? We're kind of, in my opinion, coming full circle. That kind of stuff used to matter, and then it was like, no, I want digital, now, fast, instant, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, now everybody's doing that. So what we did is we went back to the beginning and said, well, what if we actually gave you something in the real world? Would people like that? Would people dig it? And we found out, yes, they dig it. Okay, so this is one of the premium pieces of content we came out with. If you're at all in our space, you might have seen it. We've been promoting it for years, literally. Here it is. It's a physical thing. It's a guide. I could have made this a PDF. It exists in PDF format. You cannot get it on our website as a PDF. It's a guide. If you go to our website, you fill out the form, we mail you the guide for free. This was an experiment. I just thought, well, I wonder what would happen. Would people dig that? Would they like it? What happens is they call you up and say, I want to run my class off of your guidebook. Can you ship me a carton of those things? Yeah, man, I would love that. So we get more and more and more requests for this kind of thing. Okay, so here we're going to walk through it, just super quick. Again, try to make it as nice as we could make it. Good quality illustrations, excellent information, vetted by multiple people in our organization. Graphs, charts. This has been so super successful for us. This has actually grown into a whole string of things. So initially, we just came out with this guide. I'll just lay out the whole evolution for you. We came out with this guide, 28-page guide to identifying hydraulic fittings, because people new in the business, or even people who are old in the business, training new people in the business, didn't feel like that educational information was somewhere they could get their hands on it in an excellent format. So they gravitated towards ours. We said, we're going to make the best one that there is and put it out there. So there's the guide. We did the typical blog post, social media, landing page, yada, 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 put ads out there on LinkedIn. Okay, tons of reaction. People immediately loved it, called up asking for cartons of them, things like that. We're like, okay, we hit a nerve. People really do want this information. By the way, the idea for this came from the field, so that was a listen moment, right? The sales team came to me and said, we need to make one of these, okay? Let's use it. Let's use it in our content strategy. So after that, we thought, what else can we do with it? So we ended up making counter mats that go with this. They use the same illustrations, the same concept. You throw it on the counter, it helps you identify what kind of fitting you have. Same data turned into a physical product, which we give away and even sell all day long, and people love. It's a physical thing. A salesman comes into the distributor's shop, flops down a counter mat, it ties in with our Thread ID content program, all of that. And it eventually evolved up into a physical product, which is this Thread ID kit, which is one of multiple kits that are going to end up coming out. So now we have kind of monetized this entire concept, okay, and said, we're going to take Thread ID, we made a mat out of it, people want the mat, we're going to make a kit, we made the kit, we're selling the kit, we're giving away the kit, it appeals directly to our target market. Nobody wants a thread identification kit unless you're interested in hydraulic fittings, which is what we do. So it's like a perfect sweet spot. There's a high perceived value on this kit too, so when we give it away or sell it at a discount, people love it. We're running a contest right now on the website. I get a 60% conversion rate on the landing page for this. Enter to win a Threat ID kit. 60%. More than every other person who hits that page enters that. And the form is like a credit application, I'm telling you. I was not nice. I was like, no, you went in, I'm asking you everything. It's been massively successful. I'm just going to be honest. We've done it over and over and over again even, and people still go and still enter and still find it. You know, we support it actually with emails outside of our list through publications, just to increase the reach, through LinkedIn ads to increase the reach. It's a promotion, but it's based on a whole train through content, right? Through taking content, putting it out there, and making it real world. And now we're actually turning this whole thing into an educational series. So we've identified, okay, education, like Ashinta said, number 2 on your list of things people want out of content, I believe, education. Our distributors are constantly coming to us and saying, well, we need education. So we're creating this series. We give it to our distributors. It's on our website. Okay? So this thing is just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. It just shows no sign of slowing down. It might be something completely different for you, obviously, but this worked for us so far. This is one thing that's worked for us so far. Another thing we do is, believe it or not, catalogs, right? Nobody wants catalogs anymore, do they? Yeah, they freaking want your catalogs. At least they want ours, right? They're sick of downloading catalogs or searching through websites, or they want a physical catalog. So we started printing small catalogs targeted towards specific product segments. And how do we release them? Online, okay? Fill out a form, we'll mail you the catalog for free. Okay, you can click a button and get the PDF version, but loads and loads of people want the physical catalog. Now you've provided value. Okay, if somebody mails you something, you request a catalog in the mail that you actually wanted, okay, and it comes and sits on your desk, you're gonna keep that, right? You're like, oh, I wanted that. I asked for it, I got it. Now every time I sit at my desk, it's reminding me of the company. You know, we try to do these as nice and beautiful and high-end looking as we can. Again, the whole concept, I'm giving you value. It costs me $2 to mail one of these to somebody. That's not nothing, that's kind of expensive, but we do it all day long. It is now my entire direct mail budget. We're just gonna mail out what people ask for. Isn't that like novel, right? But it works, and people, when we release this catalog on the left, 1,000 people in the first day asked for it, which basically blew Allie's head off because she is the one who has to put these things in envelopes and send them out the door in one day. Okay, so, I mean, I consider that a victory. Personally, and here's an example of how we do it. This is a landing page. As you can see, we're not shy about asking a lot of personal questions. We used to be. I've tried a lot of different things. I used to do multi-stage forms. I used to do different levels of forms for different kinds of content. Okay, I've tried all those different things. Right now, what we're trying is big-ass form. Okay, it's working great. It has not slowed down anything. You know, what's your name? What's your email? Your company name? Your title? Your phone number? Your street address? Your city? Your state? Your zip code? Your role, because I start these ones like role and products of interest is how I categorize them into essentially personas functionally, right? There's fixed choices in there, like they type all kind of things in a job title, completely useless, but here's a role pick. I'm an OEM engineer, I'm an OEM procurement, I'm an OEM executive, I'm an OEM sales, I'm a distributor executive, like all the basic roles that we see. Helps us put them in the bucket, and then they tell us what products they're most and second most interested in, and literally every field except one is required. So, you know, people fill this thing out all day long. So, helps us gather information, and then helps us communicate to them only things that matter to them, which is another thing we try to do. We don't try to spam everybody about everything. Okay, next nugget. Say it with me. Are you following me? Are we together? Are you still my people? Let's sing the song of our people. Ready? 1, 2. Okay, yeah, there's no song. There should be a song. Integrated marketing peeps, unite. This is honestly something we just started doing, okay? Which is, one day we realized we have like 14 white paper guide things, all these kind of online catalogs, like, holy crap, we have something like 50 forms you could potentially fill out on the website, blogs all over the place, and it was just a ton of randomness. And we said, okay, we need to repackage this stuff. So we actually went back through all the blog posts and started tagging down at the bottom like different categories things were in, which we hadn't done. And then whenever you fill out a form, it redirects you to one of these, which are kind of resource center pages that puts all different pieces of content together under one category based on what people are generally interested in. Okay, so we found this super helpful. So now when somebody comes to the site, instead of just getting the one thing they came for and leaving, they're taking 4 things. Okay, now we still only get 1 lead, but we're providing 4 times the value by doing this, right? And our goal is to provide what? Right. So this helps achieve that goal. Now you come to our website, you're like, holy crap, they have all this stuff. Oh, look at that, I want that, I want that. And people will take 4, 5, 6 things off of the website on one visit, which I love, right? I want them to come here and love. Feel the love, people. And then we make these kind of resource center pages, for lack of a better word, in different flavors based on product types that we know people tend to be interested in. So we have like a tube fittings kind of category, an instrumentation products category, different kind of categories, aerospace products. Every blog post, every literature piece, every whatever it might be that you would ever want to know in that category lives on that page. So here are your 4 nuggets I want you to carry away. Okay, this is essentially my content marketing strategy. Starts with listen. Next one, the green one. Okay. Okay. Right. And the whole point of that, be valuable. Pretty basic, but harder to execute than it might seem. And in the end, produces astonishing results. I feel like, I'm totally blown away by our results. I never expected it to be as popular as it has been. In that graph I showed you about exponential growth of engagement, over that exact same period of time, company revenues doubled, okay? Which I take 100% complete credit for every single day. If they tank, sales is slipping. When they go up, thank you, yes. Marketing rocks. So that's what I want to leave you with. Be valuable. I'm John Joyce, Global Marketing Director for Brennan Enterprises, and thanks for listening.